So again, thank you everyone for joining our SHL Aspire Mind demo of the virtual interview solutions. Again, just as a reminder, this is Kimberly from Television. Everyone's line should have been muted upon entry, but if not, please go ahead and do so as a courtesy to the other participants and use the chat for any questions you may have about today's presentation. And lastly, again, if you would like a copy of the slide deck, just send me your name and email and we'll get that to you after today's presentation. So just wanted to do some high-level discussions about the actual product before we take a look at the actual tool. Just in general, talking about some of the high-level information. There are three main products that we are going to be looking at today. We have the live video, which is basically you and anyone else on your evaluation team. I can do up to 10 people live with the candidate virtually. They also have a coding interview. So again, you can do that live with the candidate on the computer. And then they have a one-way asynchronous video interview. So again, you can send that out at your convenience, have your candidates respond back to the questions, and then have yourself and whoever else is evaluating those candidates do that at your convenience. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the three products. The two-way live interview is called Smart Meet. Again, it is a live video. It allows you to do the end-to-end interview. Fairly easy to set up. And you can actually use a library of prepared questions or generate your own questions to ensure that those are asked to all of the candidates. Again, you can have multiple interviewers talking to that candidate at the same time. It also records the interview. So if you have someone who doesn't or isn't unable to participate, they can go back and do their evaluations at a later date. Additionally, we have a product called CodeMeet, which again is predominantly for coding positions. You can go through, use the whiteboard, have them actually do live coding scenarios as applicable for that particular position. And then lastly, we have what they call the auto view, which is a one-way recorded video. Again, you can set that up inside the system, email it out to multiple candidates. Upon their completion, it goes back into the system, and you can have the designated evaluators go in and give their critiquing of each of the candidates at their convenience. So with that overview, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the tool so you can take a look at that. When you log on, again, it will take you to the dashboard. For those of you that have already transitioned to the SHL platform, some of this will be somewhat familiar. Again, from here, I have my options on my menu. This particular account has the video assessment, which again is the one-way, and then the options for the CodeMeet and the Smart Meet. So I'm going to look at the one-way videos first. From here, similar to doing a skill assessment, I can see I have the options to create my video assessment or to look at the ones that I've already got scheduled. I'm going to look at the ones that I've already created, again, just so you can see what the reports are like. You can sort by an assessment name. You can actually just look at all of your candidates, search for a particular candidate. Again, same feature and functionality that you have for the skill assessment portion. If I hover over a particular video assessment that's been created, I can see who created it and the date. however many candidates that have been scheduled, those that have completed it, anyone that scored strongly. I have the ability to schedule more assessments for this particular, or more candidates for this particular assessment. I can pull up my specific candidate details. And then here I can change who has visibility to those video assessments, as well as delete them, copy, edit, go ahead and evaluate that particular assessment and candidate. I can look at my candidate responses, or if I'm ready, I can go ahead and just start an assessment and again pull that up that way. So if I pull up one of these reports, just so you can see what it looks like from here. Again, similar setup as to what you would see from the skill assessment portion. Candidate's name, contact, any of the evaluators that were originally assigned to do the evaluation for this particular candidate. Their overall scores. And then I can see the actual assessment report. I'm going to pull that up in just a moment. Again, I have the option to contact the candidate. And then if I expand, I have the option to reschedule it. I can assign additional evaluators. I can look at the actual feedback. I can see the candidate's responses. Or I can go in if I've not evaluated and add my evaluation. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the report. It does open up as a separate tab. From here, I can see the overall score that was provided for this particular parameters set for this evaluation. I can look at any particular AI generated insights on those parameters that were set. I can look at the actual responses for each of the particular questions. So, here's question 1 was describing a situation. I can actually play the recording. You're probably not going to be able to hear the video, but you can actually see it is a live video recording. Based off of that, I can go ahead and give my score. I can add any additional comments and then save those. And I can do that for each of the particular questions on the recorded video assessment. I also have the option to check with any of the other evaluators that were already assigned and see how they evaluated the candidate for those particular questions. So if Shane had actually completed this, I would be able to see his score and his comments right there. Additionally, if there was proctoring that was set up for this, I would be able to see that as well. So again, print screen. Yes, we did the ID. And then we have no toggling of the browser. I can see the actual screenshots taken during the presentation of the interview. I can download this report. It won't download the actual videos, but it'll give me the scoring and the feedback and the comments. So I'm done with this particular report. I can just go ahead and close it out. And then again, I can export the results. So continued same functionality as what you have for the actual skill assessment portion. To create a new one, I again just go over here to click assessment. I can go ahead and, again, same functionality, give it a name. I'm just going to call it a video demo. But I could name it the name of the actual position. what other additional information I want to include. I can create new questions from scratch. How's the weather? I can select the format so that it's a text only. I can set it so that it does an audio of the question. Or if I want to do video, I can actually record a custom video of me asking the question to the candidate. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as text only because that's easiest. How's the weather? Obviously, this would probably not be a real question I want to ask in the interview, but again, gets you through the process. You can set the thinking time for the candidate to prepare their answer, as well as the actual duration for their answer. I want to add that, then I just said save. Question has been saved. I can actually use the question data bank. So if I wanted to look at HR related questions, I could do, self-improvement, where you've helped someone. I could actually look for key search. Oh, and that didn't pop up. So I can actually change my filters. Let's try to relocate. So if I wanted to ask them about being able to relocate, I can actually view the question. I can edit the question, or if I'm good with it as the default, I can go ahead and just add that to my list of questions. So that's now been added to my list of options. So again, I can continue doing that for any particular topics that I'm interested in. Strengths and weaknesses. Again, what is most applicable to you and your interview process. So again, once I've got my particular questions, save and next. From here, I can select my proctoring options, or again, turn them off at the master level. I can change the mode of delivery, whether they're doing it at a computer or a mobile device. I can select my information for my candidate, whether I go with a default or I collect additional bio data. Again, as applicable for your interview process. Save and next. And then I can add the evaluation parameters for this particular interview, whether that's communication or initiative. Maybe I'm looking for experience. And those would be the items that I would look for evaluating overall. And I can also do evaluations and parameters for each specific question, in addition to the ones that I want overall. And it'll allow me to go through each particular question. So this one might just be attitude, willingness to relocate, teamwork, so on and so forth as applicable. Maybe leadership. And from there, if those are all of the evaluations that I would like to have as part of the assessment, again, I can schedule later or schedule now. So again, very, very similar to doing an actual skill assessment. And I can specify my country, time zone, and date range. Since this is a recorded video, I have the option to go ahead and do a bulk upload. So again, if you want to send this out to a large number of candidates, have them, again, do the evaluation, you could do it that way. I can add candidates one at a time. I could also use the common link and then have them register themselves to do this video interview. Again, similar to the skill assessments, I can actually set an alert when the video interview is completed by the candidate. I can edit the template that is used and sent to the candidate. I can also specify anybody on the team that should be doing the evaluation, and I just check them. Once they're checked, they're moved up here to the top. If someone's not in the system, I can add them as a new evaluator. So they'll be added so they can actually do the evaluation for this particular interview. And I can also set up the notifications, both on, hey, you've been assigned to do the evaluation, as well as, candidate Charlie Brown has completed it. Please go take a look and do the evaluation. So once I've got that, then again, I just hit the schedule. The evaluators will receive the notification, and the candidate will receive their link to go review the questions. Great question. So there was a question in the chat regarding functionality built into the Aviante integration. I know Aviante is still in discussions with SHL about their integration setup. I would anticipate if you added the virtual interview tools to your account, you should be able to have that added on to your Aviante integration so you can access it from the direct dashboard. So great question there. So again, that's the setup for the recorded interviews. The other two options are the live versions, either the CodeMeet for coding or the SmartMeet just for the live interview. And I have the drop-down menu over here. So I can start an interview on the fly and just go ahead and start it, add my candidates, add any additional evaluators. I can also go to interviews that I've got already scheduled. And then I can also do my configuration and actual scheduling of that. So again, if I wanted to go with SmartMeet, I can give the configuration a name and the job profile. And similar again, I have the option to use the question data bank. I can also specify, since this is a live interview, whether it is a structured interview and the main interviewer needs to go through all of the specified questions, or I can leave it unstructured so that their questions are optional. Any test that's already been set up, I can actually view the questions on the test. This one we only looked at two: willingness to relocate and, again, the weather. But I can create a new test and then go ahead and, again, do the scheduling now. So I'm going to go to one of the interviews I've already got set up. So again, we have our default setup. Again, similar process to the others. I can see who created it, when it was done, any candidates that have been scheduled, those that have completed it, how they finished. I can schedule more candidates for that particular assessment. I can look at my candidate list. And again, go into edit, copy, delete, change who has visibility, or add more interviewers to go back and do the evaluation. So again, if I want to look at that, I can pop in here, Here was the completed test. Here was the interview score. I can look for the feedback details. I can play back the interview if I wasn't there at the time that it was done live. And again, view the details or contact the candidate. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and schedule more. Again, I can set it up, change the title. So the title could be the actual name of the position, or again, interview with the hiring manager, or however you wish to name it. I can set up the date that we want to get started, time zone, Eastern Daylight, the duration of the actual interview. Again, who on my team is going to be doing the evaluation. Right now, I'm just going to say me, but I can add new users. I can add my candidate detail. If candidates aren't already in there, I can add them as a new one. Oh, good question. So the question in the chat is, does the person who set the session up need to start the session, or would the interviewer and candidate only be able to join and run through the interview? So it should, once it's actually started, it should be able to run by the interviewer. I have to say I've not run into demoing so far where the person setting it up isn't the one actually doing the demo. Well, that's a great question, Kevin. I will verify that for you. As long as it's actually scheduled, you should be able to have it run up either way. I'm going to verify. Great question. So, if I add my teammate Amy as a candidate, there would be her information. I can say, yes, we actually want to email it to her. Oops, I want to go Canada. I can set up, add again, more invitations, another notification, and then hit the schedule. And the interview's been scheduled. So I can actually add this to my calendar. Since this one is scheduled for now, I can actually copy the URL and start it this way. So again, I'm going to join as the, oh, yep, I didn't think it was going to take that right. There we go. So it will log into the live interview URL. It will ask me to, again, make sure that I've read the data protection and I understand all of the information there. Allow and proceed. The system does walk you through a brief tutorial unless you actually turn it off so you can see there's me. Hey! So I can walk through all of the questions. From here, I can actually go to the question panel. I can see what was added as part of my interview questions. If Amy is able to, oh, there we go. Hi, Amy. So you can see, I have Amy now as my candidate. Yeah. And we're not going to be able to hear the volume again because we're actually going through WebEx versus through the interview tool. So the system's not allowing her to hear both sides of it. So, but again, you can see here's me up in the top as the interviewer. Here's Amy. I can actually pull up internal comments for other interviewers. I like Amy. I like Amy. So and I can say, great, I like Amy. And I can send that off to the rest of my team. If for some reason I wanted to have communication with Amy, I can mute her. I can unpin video. I can actually respond, hey, hey, Amy, is it sunny today? And, she could give me her answer. And again, I could actually put in a score based off of her response. I have the option, I can do, if there's any reports, I can do it that way. I can actually pull up a chat. So let's say, again, in this particular instance, since we are doing WebEx and the live video, we don't have the audio working. So I can say, hi, Amy, is your audio working? And I could email that to her. So she'll actually see the note so she can reply back and we can talk about any technical issues that way. If I have something specific to the position, maybe I want to look at her resume or something like that, and I want to discuss that, I can actually attach the file, send that over to her for her to look at as applicable. Any other interviewers who are on here would all be listed here. We could all do the evaluations, comments internally. And then when we're done, we'll just say, thank you very much, Amy. And we end the interview. Ta-da! So Amy's like, I'm off the hook now. Oh, so I need to finish doing, give her 100% there on my questions. Interview. So communication will just say is good. I like Amy. Good team player. I can save that. And then we're disconnected. So similar process for doing the Smart Meet. Configure and schedule. Again, Smart Meet, I can pick a particular parameters, use a particular test, or again, go through my interview, start it live, same process. So fairly straightforward. And again, now that we've finished the interviews, I'm going to do a quick update and see if that popped up here. So, we've got, hey, here's my Amy, and there's my interview. And I gave her a 5 out of 5. And again, here's the feedback details. I like Amy, good team player. And then anybody else that needs to interview, if they weren't able to participate initially, could do that at this point. So that's pretty much the tool as a high-level overview. And do a quick check to see. Les, did you have an actual question there? Great. All right. No additional questions at the moment. I'm going to go back over here to my presentation then. Okay, good. So you may be aware that SHL is offering a 60-day trial version of the 3 virtual interview tools. If you are interested in going ahead and signing up for a trial period, just reach out to myself, Amy, or Michelle. We can get you set up on that. We do need acknowledgement on the terms for the trial. That can just be done via email. Once we've got that acknowledgement back from you, we can have that added to your account. And again, schedule some additional training and then look for your feedback of you like the tool, don't like the tool, want to go ahead and add it full-time onto your account from there. So I'm going to do one last check to see if there's any other questions. So the question is, how long basically is the trial going to be available. And at this moment, I think yes, if the offer is still available, and I'm anticipating it's probably going to be for a while, we can definitely get you set up later in June, July-ish for that trial period, as long as that's still available. So Cindy, just let us know when you're ready, and we can just go back and re-verify that it's still available. Like I said, I'm anticipating SHL is going to be running that offer for a while. The cost of this is going to be based off of the actual interviews, so it's by interview. It's roughly $24 per interview once you get out of the trial period. So there's a question who, if someone specializes in giving computerized testing, do you have to sign up for the free trial too? So if you are using the Code Meet and you're doing that as a live coding interview, once you got past through again, we do recommend that you trial it out, make sure that it's going to be working for you. So that is a great question, Roberto. I am not sure. We may have to take that one a little bit offline so I can get some more details for your specific situation and scenario. In general, if you are the admin doing it and you're using, again, CodeMeet, SmartMeet, or AutoView, that would be set up, and you would be paying for that once you go live out of the trial period. And yes, SHL is going to be, all of the IBM content is currently available on the SHL platform. So as people transition from IBM, you'll be available and have the same content available on the Assess platform. So I will say that the two products are slightly different. So again, you can still have the assessments, or you can have the assessments and the virtual interviewing, again, depending on your requirements and what your needs are. So any other last minute questions? Give that just another moment. Great. All right, well, I think that answers all of the questions in the chat for the moment. Please let us know if you have any additional questions about the product or about signing up for the 60-day free trial. We'd love to get you set up for that. And as there are no more additional questions, that concludes our presentation today. We do hope you find the overview of the virtual solutions of benefit, and you may now disconnect. Thank you.